this year? What's an example of something that happened in the season?
I think that my role was a little different this year. I was more involved with the defense, had to be more involved with the defense. That took a little more time, put a little more stress, on me. Made me feel like maybe I wasn't doing as good a job as I needed to in other parts of our team. And I just have a high standard for it to be.
I think most people would agree that that's going to be a huge part of the legacy, if not the defining part of it. And a lot of the guys who were affected in that way were in that room when you walked in, decided which speech you were going to give. What was that moment like for you?
Difficult. Very difficult. Because I love those guys sitting in that room. I love those players. I appreciate, there's nothing more that I respect than great competitors. And these guys all overcame tremendous resiliency. They committed to the program. They committed themselves to the team for next year. And I wanted to go in and say, hey, I want everybody to make 100% commitment for the next 12 months. But I got to be able to make that same kind of commitment if I'm going to be the leader and the coach. So, and that was a little bit of a dilemma.
Guys came to see you. I'm sure you talked to a lot of people afterwards. Is there a moment that stands out that's particularly meaningful to you after you made this decision?
Well, I love all the players. But there's some players, you're human, that you have special relationship with. And I spend more time with the defensive guys and I spend more time with the defensive backs. So when a lot of the players came up, Malachi Moore and Caleb Downs, Malachi's one of the captains on the team. Caleb is the young guy that has all the right stuff and does everything exactly like you want and is a tremendous competitor, both guys. So those two guys were probably the most difficult.
So what did you say to them?
I encouraged them to continue to do the things that they've always done to be successful. One of the things I encouraged the team to do was, you guys all need to play for each other. They'll hire a really good coach here. You'll have good coaches. You'll learn more things from more different people that can enhance your development. And you guys got to trust in that, believe in that, and play for each other. And I'm going to be here, so I'm going to be here for you. I'm going to have a presence. I'm going to stay in Tuscaloosa. They're giving me an office in the stadium. And I said, I can get on your butt from there just like I can from on the field.
You've said this before, that being part of a team is so much of who you are. You've probably done it since you were 4 or 5 years old. And you still have that team in one way, but it's a lot different when you woke up this morning. What was it like this morning when you woke up and knew that aspect was different?
Yeah, that's the biggest part that I think is going to be difficult for me. Leading a group of people, young people who you are trying to influence in a positive way, and not being in a position to do that. That's probably the most difficult thing for me. So I've been a part of the team since I was 9 years old, I think, when I played Little League Baseball. And, it's great to be a part of the team. And, football probably is the greatest team game of all, because there's so many people involved, and there's 11 people in the field, and they've all got to do a job for that particular play to work, whether it's offense, defense, special teams. So, the accountability that you learn, the resiliency that you learn, the pride in performance, the discipline you have to have, the work ethic to get there. And when you have a successful team and you win a championship, there's nothing greater than that. And to be a part of that is hard, but very, very rewarding. And that's the part I miss the most.
College football's changed a lot in the last few years, whether it's transfer portal, NIL, all the things that are different. What effect, if any, did that have on you as you were evaluating what to do next?
It did not have any effect on my decision. I've always been one that, no matter what's happened through the years, whether they went no huddle and you had to adapt to it, they threw RPOs and you had to adapt to it. We had a changing environment in college football. My thing was always, don't complain about it, try to figure out what the best solution is so that you can compete well in whatever the environment is. And that's always the approach that I've taken in the situation and circumstances that we're in. But I will be dedicated to college football and the future of college football and trying to make that sport, as well as other sports in collegiate athletics, whether they're revenue producing or not, because I think they all create opportunities for lots of people. I'm going to be an advocate for trying to make the game as good as it can be. And I do think that, there's probably more to come when it comes to this topic from my standpoint. But for now, I'll answer your question and say that didn't have any impact on what I decided to do.
As you think about it, you carry more weight than just about anybody, more weight than anybody else in the sport. Where would you start to improve it? I'm not talking about, shouting at the clouds and going back to the old days. I'm not suggesting that because I know you don't believe it. What would you start to make it work better for players and for the coaches for that matter?
Yeah, I'm all for the players. I want the players to have a good quality of life. But I think in some ways, all competitive venues, I don't care if it's the NFL, Major League Baseball, I don't care what you look at, they have something that creates parity and competitive balance. So I'd like to see the players benefit, but I'd also like to see it be that every school has the opportunity, because there's some kind of defined circumstances and guidelines that makes it the same for everybody. I don't care if you're at Iowa State, University of Texas, Alabama, Ohio State, or Memphis State for that matter. They all would have a chance to compete. And I don't think the landscape that we have right now allows that. And I'd also like to see whatever that solution is, not eliminate other sports and other opportunities because of financial ramifications that would create where we can't have gymnastics or we can't have track and field. 82% of the participants in the last Olympics were trained in college. So I think that development and the opportunities created by college athletics, if we can keep that intact, I think that would be beneficial to a lot of people. At the same time, we improve the quality of life of the participants.
So what do you think? I don't think I've ever asked you this before. So what do you think about college football being its own entity, operating itself with its own collective bargaining type rules and that type of thing? Is that a good thing?
Well, I don't know. I'm going to think about it. I'm going to research it. I don't know that anybody has the best solutions. There's a lot of issues right now relative to lawsuits and different things like that are impacting people's ability to make choices and decisions as to what the future really is. But eventually, we've got to have some kind of way that the players benefit, but they do it in some format that is equal to all of us at whatever university or college you're coaching at or playing at.
You're talking about your legacy. You wanted it to extend beyond the field, but there's been no dynasty with on-field success like this in the history of the sport. In terms of championships in a small period of time, relatively speaking, sustained excellence, and it's going to be difficult for whoever steps on that sideline after you. I'm sure they'll call you and ask you, what do I need to know about this job and about trying to sustain it? What would you say to them?
Well, I think there's a great team of people here. We get great cooperation in the university community. We've had great graduation rate. We've got really good personal development programs and good people who help guide players in a way that they have a better chance to be successful. And we've done a good job of developing players. And we've had a lot of really good coaches, and we've had a lot of really good players. And I think it's because we have a team of people who are dedicated to creating value for players. So value meaning, look, we all went to college. to see how much value we could create for our future. And that's always been what we've tried to do as an institution and as a program. How much value can we create for a player? You know, a player is really going to college to prepare himself for the day he can't play football, even though these guys all have dreams and aspirations of playing in the NFL, and we certainly wanted to help them do that. But NFL stands for not for long. So, you know, the life expectancy is not great, and only a few people make it. So what do you do next? And that's what I've always tried to emphasize to players, and they bought into it fairly well. I don't think that, you know, guys transferring multiple times really enhances graduation. And I hope we don't see things in the future, 10 years from now, that we have guys that didn't graduate and their career's over, and now they're having a difficult time being successful in life. I think we saw that in the NFL a few years ago. I don't want to see that happen to college players.
The reaction among the fans here has been pretty remarkable. I don't know if you've seen, but they've put tributes at your statue there. When you see something like that, and then I even think back to the lady when you arrived in Tuscaloosa that grabbed you and kissed you on the cheek. Even as excited as she was, I'm not sure she could have imagined what's happened in the interim. When you think back from that moment to now seeing people put oatmeal cream pies and hopes or whatever it might be at the statue, what do you think about that?
You know, we've had great fans here. We've had great support. I've never felt more welcome that the first time we had an A-Day game here, and 95,000 people come to A-Day. And that kind of support, that kind of passion to have a good program is one of the things that has contributed to the success that we've had. So, you know, I feel honored that these people acknowledge the fact that they contributed to the success of the program. All the players that have been here through the years have a lot of gratitude for their effort. The players on the team now. But that's the real reason that we've had success. It's the team. It's not just me. But I appreciate the fact that people have that kind of respect for what we've been able to accomplish.
How do you think you'll find satisfaction in the competitive spirit that you have in the aftermath of coaching?
Well, I'm going to keep working. I mean, I don't want to get up and watch Netflix. I mean, I want to do something. You know, I have some businesses. Maybe there's some other opportunities out there for me somewhere, but
I can think of one. But go ahead. I'm
and,
sorry.
And I'd probably, you know, like to do that. But you know, somebody told me once, you know, you can't start a broadcasting career when you're 80. So, but I'm looking for challenges. You know, we have businesses, we have lots of things, and I do want to contribute to continue to helping people. You know, Nick's Kids has been, you know, great and helping a lot of people. We've given a lot and spent a lot of kids on first-generation scholarships here and Stillman College. And we want to continue to do those types of things in the community, build houses for people. It's just part of having compassion for other people and trying to be helpful. And you know, one of the things that make me sort of most proud is the number of players. Tua, Jones, Bryce, whoever it was, that I saw them working on houses for Miss Terry on Saturday to build a house for some needy family. And now they all have foundations themselves. They're dedicated to helping other people. So that's one of my proudest moments as a coach, that because those guys were involved in helping people here and doing things in the community that had an impact to help someone else have a better quality of life, they chose to do that in their future.
It's been a surreal day, couple of days in sports with you retired, Bill Belichick, who you're close to, parting ways with the Patriots, Pete Carroll. But particularly Belichick, with the relationship that the two of you have and the parallel success in many ways that you have. What's your thought about the future of long-term coaching icons, coaches being able to stay in place a long time and sustain success?
Well, I think it's a tribute because I think it's much more difficult to sustain success than it is to build a program. To take a 3-18 and in 3 or 4 years make it a successful program. I think to do it for a long time, because people don't react well to success. They react much better to failure. They're more willing to change their ways. They're more willing to develop the habits they need to develop to be successful. But when you've climbed the mountain successfully several times, you become the mountain. So therefore, everybody's shooting at you. Everybody wants to beat you. Everybody circles that game on, their schedule as this is the game that we want to make sure we're ready for and win. So now you have to have people in your organization who are not trying to prove anything. They're actually trying to be the best that they can be. And that's a much more difficult thing to try to accomplish on a consistent basis. So, my hat's off to Bill for all the success that he had, Pete Carroll, all the success that he's had in college and the NFL. Those guys are really special in terms of what they've been able to accomplish.
You recognize how difficult that is to continue to do it, yet you never fell into the trap. Why?
I don't know. I always looked at the next challenge, the next season, the next team. And it was almost like, for me, you just took a new job. When that season was over, whether you won the championship or got beat in the playoffs or lost the national championship game, we've done them all. We lost them on the last play of the game. So whatever that circumstance was, 2 or 3 days later, I'm like, this is like taking a new job. We have a new team, we got new leadership, we got coaches leaving, we got to hire people. So how are we going to build that team? And so I never looked back. I always was looking at the challenge of the future. And I did that because of the standard that I was trying to work toward, the standard that I wanted the people in the organization to work toward, and the standard of excellence that we were looking for in the players to get them to be the best that they could be. That's all I've ever asked a guy. Be the best that you can be. Don't worry about winning. Don't worry about losing. What do you have to do to get the outcome that you want by focusing on the things that are going to help you get the outcome? And that's always been sort of my philosophy, and I think that's why we were always able to, look at the next challenge.
For somebody who grew up loving the sport, loving the university particularly, we ought to thank you for what you did for the sport, for the university, for our show over the years. You've been spectacular, man. And we really, really appreciate you and respect you. And we've been, and I know you hate this kind of stuff, we've been in the presence of greatness, and we're grateful for it. Appreciate you, man.
Well, I thank you for saying that. But a lot of people contributed to that. So I hope that they all know that I appreciate what they did to create that. But I also think that what you do for college athletics, the interest that you create, whether it's game day, doing all the things that, Sports Center does, and all the people who promote athletics. I think that's really, really important. And I think we all need to respect and cherish what we need to do in the future to make sure that we maintain that at a high level for a lot of people.